Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm AxionEvolved, and before we hop into today's video, do me a quick favor, scroll down just a little bit, hit that subscribe button for me. Helps me out, helps the channel grow, and you know, it lets you know when I upload new stuff. So it's win-win all around. And we got a bunch to go over today, so let's hop right into this episode. So last time, one of the big things we did is kind of set up this proof of concept with the matter movers and our whole smelting area over here. You know, it works. It definitely validates my vision. The only thing that I think leaves something to be desired is the power delivery. We may end up going with kind of like a, let's see, if this is the -10 depth level, something at like -11. So right at this level right here, that we use maybe some coal. You know, maybe we do end up using coal to power all this instead of just solar. I don't know, but yeah, this has been running pretty well. It's a nice way, and I mean, these are, you know, it's filling up enough. It's filling up fast enough to kind of keep this process going. For now, I just empty these out to kind of see what kind of throughput we get, but we can always revert back to belts too until we get enough kind of infrastructure going. But that's not all I did in the last episode and in between episodes even. So let me go show you a little bit more. So you might notice we're looking a little different over here, right? I got rid of this copper line that was over there just because we're done with it, right? Obviously we're missing the stuff that we moved down there, but also over here you'll notice something that we definitely did not have in the last episode, and that is one sad little refinery right here. And the reason I needed this is for, well, a couple reasons. Number one, I had to venture down into the toxic caverns, and I got us some biomass, right? You see this right here, 807 biomass. I don't know if that's going to last us for what we're doing, because unfortunately, I'm kind of just knifing ahead in the technology without any infrastructure to really support it. So I can unlock some things and kind of plan around it, right? And this is one of those things. I needed high energy composite fuel, right? This guy, high energy composite fuel. And for what, you ask? Well, this was unlocked through a technology, right? And that was, I think, hydrocarbon recombination, right? That's what I got, right? So I used all this. It unlocked all this stuff. Jetpack, I want to get like as soon as I really can. But the big thing is right down here, basic quarry. That's right. We finally have unlocked all of our quarries. Now, here it is right here. You can see I've got all the stuff. Another thing I had to do, go find these sugarlight crystals, because those only exist pretty deep. And I had to go down exploring and find them, right? So I've got enough of everything to make one quarry. That's cool. But you can see this is the other mod I had installed for these other quarries. I've never used them, but if you look at them, not only do they take a basic quarry, but they take a bunch of other stuff that we straight up do not have, right? I don't even know how these work, honestly. Like, look at, I mean, if you just read this, it's kind of crazy, right? And we don't have these, we don't have plasma, like, we don't have any of this stuff set up yet, right? So, we're going to kind of just use this basic quarry. In fact, crafting. Boom, made, right? But that kind of brings me to one of the issues we're going to have in the short term, right? And let me put it here. We're going to need to power this thing. Now, as part of this other research, I definitely do have Mark III batteries, Mark IV batteries even, right? But you see alloyed machine blocks, which, you know, I think I can make those by hand if I had to. But those take 24 hard machine blocks, right? They're just super expensive. We are not producing tier 2 stuff yet, right? But we do have, you know, some higher laser energy transmitters. I would love to get these, but we're going to need to set up that in mass. So what I'm going to do for now is I think I'm going to try to get some of this going. Infused coal. Macerator is, you know, trivial to make. I don't think that this is going to suffice. This is definitely not going to give us enough power, but I think it will give us like 128 power, if I'm not mistaken, because on Enriched coal, I think we're doing 64, right? Yes. Well, that's doing nothing, but yeah. Anyway, I think it's 64 power per second. Right. Somewhere in there. In fact, what am I powering this with? Just nothing? Oh, right here. Yeah, I've got some generators. So I want to do something very similar to this, but not only do we have to kind of plan where this thing is going to go, right? I think it's pretty easy. You just kind of put it down. And I want to do that somewhere over in this direction. So we also got to keep this in mind, right? This minus 10 depth. That's the kind of the logistics layer that we're running everything off of, right? So if I'm coming like out here, you know, I kind of want to do it maybe a little bit farther, maybe somewhere over in this direction. If I kind of put it somewhere where I know there's resources, you know, like it'd be kind of a waste to put it here. Oh, although I kind of want to go scout this out, honestly. Let's take a look. I haven't been over here, so I wonder if I just throw it on an already existing, you know, ores, if it'll... I don't think it mines ores very efficiently, but holy crap, that is a deep hole down there. So it looks like we got some coal. What is that, some copper right there? Yeah, copper. I mean, it's all kind of trivial, but one of the main ways that I want to... other than just directly mining the ores, which, you know, that's probably the most, I guess, efficient way of doing this, right? Is I'm going to macerate all the dirt and rocks and all that kind of stuff, right? I know I don't have to do that, but as part of kind of like the grand logistics plan I have in my mind for this whole playthrough, that's kind of all part of it, right? And there's a couple things we're going to consider with this spot, right? Number one, how are we going to eventually get the power over to here? Because that is not a trivial matter, powering this, because this will not be the only quarry that we're using, especially because I want to kind of have quarries be the main way of getting all the resources, right? So being over here is, you know, it's fine. You know, I could set this up kind of like anywhere on this level, maybe even right here in this hole. So power will have to come from somewhere. I imagine we'll use turbines for the time being until maybe we can tech up to full solar. But then even then, I don't know if full solar will give us enough power to handle all this. But for now, we'll keep that there. But another thing is we got to look out for these guys, right? We got a hive there. I thought I know there's one kind of, there's a hive there. I don't foresee them being an issue, right? And you see there's the hive mind. There's a hive mind right over there. There's 3 over here, 4. So definitely something we have to worry about to an extent. But also this gives us an opportunity, right? Because with these hive minds, we can now set up a resin farm and start turning the liquefied resin into high energy composite fuel, very similar to what we did in season 1. And that can kind of drive the power for our quarry, right? We can even have more than one, honestly. And over time, with everything automated, it'll only get easier to build this stuff. So I think that's going to kind of be the plan. So I think I should just bite the bullet and just throw this thing down, huh? Let me find a nice like decorative block to build on. Build some really fancy looking blocks, right? Let's do I not have any of the other blocks? Also, are there more blocks that I'm not seeing here? In fact, let me go back to the base real quick. You know, I'm looking, I don't see any other blocks in here. So I'm wondering if it's only what's in the self-craft menu. I mean, I guess I could do wood planks if I really wanted to, but I guess maybe we'll just use the groove cement, right? We'll use this one. I don't think it's bad. Another nice feature of the self-crafted blocks like these is you do run faster. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but yeah. So I'm going to go place this thing down real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about a couple more of the challenges that we're going to kind of run into with this whole process. All right, so I think we could put that, right? Cannot. Oh, an input. Okay, so we do have to make the chevrons, right? So, how many do we need? I think we need like a bunch. But that just goes to construction pace, right? Of course. Let's go here. So, if I remember correctly, this will create...
Crafting.
What do we need, like 27 maybe?
Crafting.
30? This will create kind of like a border around, right? And it'll do it on its own. So let's see. All right, so here you can see it's kind of marking out everything, which is fine. This is great. There's the quarry. Okay, what am I? How many am I missing? I wonder. Okay. You know what? I might as well just make a bunch, right?
Crafting.
Maybe another 30? I know I'm not going to need that many, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's done. Press E, confirmed. Okay, so now we have this set up, like straight up. This is the quarry, right? So, like I said, a couple issues. Number one, power, right? We're going to have to power this. The best thing I can do right now is that, right? I can throw some power in here, and it'll do some stuff. Like, it's going. But obviously, this is not sustainable. I cannot just stand here and throw my suit power into this until it digs everything. But you can also see it's starting to output stuff. What is that? Dynamite? What the heck is this? I'll have to look at that. I've never seen that before. But you saw it's outputting to here, right? So number one, I have to figure out how am I going to power this thing currently, right? I can maybe... Oh man, I could maybe do something like this, right? One here, one there with logistics hoppers here and here. I'll have to feed it from one side, but I don't think that really matters, right? There are a couple things I have to consider, right? So maybe something like this and in. Okay, so that'll at least kind of get it going. In fact, do I have any? I got 9. We can at least start. So it'll kind of do its thing, right? Yeah, I mean, ideally I have a bigger battery there. Ideally I have like a Mark IV battery that it's powered by turbines, but until then, right? So we're going to get all this stuff out. Now, I have to output that all somewhere, you know? I'm going to do this. That's all going to do its thing. So now we're going to have to figure out where our macerator array is going to be, right? So number one, I have to get infused coal. This is enriched coal, right? I need to get infused coal to this area. Is it taking off this layer? I hope. I can't tell. Or is it just digging down? Oh, no, it is. Okay, perfect. So I think job number one, you know what? Do I have any, actually, do I have any coal pinks? I do. Where are those? Well, they're about to go right here. Where do I have coal? Oh, God, all over the place. Notably, well, that's kind of deep. I don't want something so deep. I might have to just come back to here, you know? Let's see. How big is this vein over here? Because this... Oh, I was actually already getting into this, wasn't I? So that is not a lot. But it could be enough for the time being, right? So what I'm going to need to do... God, I wish you could just like end the ping. So what I'm going to need to do is start infusing, making a small infused coal factory to feed this with infused coal, right? And I can do something like this and just kind of come to here and it'll do its thing, right? Because eventually then what I'm going to need to do is something like this, right? Something to this effect. And I can even get rid of that and do that, you know? So that's a whole lot of belts to come off, but I think it's okay. Are these guys... See, I think these are already out of... They've already burned through everything, right? Holy crap. Okay. So that just goes to show you kind of how power hungry these things are. I need to scan this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather all the materials, and I'm going to start figuring out a way to get... actually, you know what? Oh, shoot. I wonder if I should do this the other way. That way there's just less belting that I need to do. You know what I mean? Feed it from this side. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'm gonna scan whatever this unknown material is right here, and see what that is. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll hop into building this coal factory. All right. So what do we got here? TNT. Literally TNT. What does TNT do? I've never come across TNT. Materials. TNT. What do we got? This material does not block movement. Okay. Cool. So it's just a random thing. All right. Awesome. So now let's look at what we need for, let's see, power generation, crystal coal infuser, a macerator. Looks like at most I'll be able to build 3 of these. I only think I need 1 for now. Macerator. Oh wait, that's in here. Macerator. What do we got? Okay. You know what? Let's build 3. Why not? There we go. All my charged lithium coils, but I think it's worth it. And then I do need enrichers though. Kind of screwed myself there. Okay. Let me think. Where can I get enrichers from? What do I need? You know what? I'm going to get this stuff to build enrichers real quick, and then I'll meet you guys back over at the new infusing plant. Alright, so a couple things we need to take into account when we do this. Number 1, I have to be feeding this thing with power, right? So the output hopper for the drill, well, I mean, maybe it doesn't. I'm thinking, and maybe I'll do 2 drills, honestly. Let me think here. If I do something like this, right? And then I do something like this. And I'll have that and that, right? So really what I'm going to do is do something like that, and like that. What I want is this guy to just grab coal whenever it's available. So let me see if that even works, right? So this guy will output. This should be more than enough to power both of these, right? And it will, okay, so it can kind of grab stuff. So, okay, so that's good. So I've got, well, I didn't quite mean to do that, but whatever. So hopefully that works, right? And then that'll output too, so blah, blah, blah. So let's, I guess, oh, maybe we'll actually have this go this way. Build a little space here, right? Because also what we need to do is power this whole process. The whole enriching blah, blah, blah process, right? So we've got enricher, infusers. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. These all need power though, don't they? Maybe that's fine. How will I power these? You know what? I'm going to see if I can build... Either that or I do 2 at a time. Maybe I do something like that. Because... So the reason I'm thinking about this is, right? I hate doing it this way. But I've got batteries. You know? I could do something like that. Maybe. Or I can go build another induction plate. Let me go see how much those cost again. And through the power of course, great planning and not editing, 1 induction charger. So let's get over there and get this all kind of reconfigured, because I think I have a better solution for this now. All right, so let's get rid of all this. We'll just kind of redo this, right? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down, right? 2, 3, 4, 5.
Structure complete.
So kind of simple, right? What's nice about this setup is that now I don't have to necessarily concern myself with let me do it this side, this way. Right? I don't have to concern myself with how everything's outputting. Because what's going to happen is, let's see here. We're going to go, maybe I'll just do 2 still. Make it easy, right? Induction chargers. And then I need some headroom here. Induction chargers, or I'm sorry, enrichers, infusers. And these don't take a lot of coal, right? Something like this, something like this, something like that, something like that, something like that. Then what I'm gonna do? Oh, I don't think these need to output into hoppers, right? Well, we'll find out. We will find out. So we'll do that. And then, and only then, I'll do something like this, where I put, oh, get out of the way, all of this rock. Just give me some space. I will do something to the effect of that and that. And I think that should be enough. Yeah, I think that should be enough, huh? And I'll do something like that. Something like that. Yeah, I think this, you know what? I think I'm just going to send one line over. We'll kind of see how that works. Let's see, what actually, you know what? I don't even know if I need to go down. I could probably just, honestly. What is this? Is that 11? So it's going to need to go up anyway. And then we'll just kind of dig a little hole there. I assume this will work. You know? I assume that'll be able to output onto there. Okay, so now I need to just do something to jumpstart this. I know I had a coal that I picked up. What are you, coal? Oh. I mean, we got something going. Oh, of course. Of course. All this ceiling in the way. You know? One of the things I want to try to do this season 2 is kind of build more compactly if possible. I know that's not always going to be possible, and you know, it just kind of is what it is, but like, you're doing your thing, right? Enriching coal, infusing coal. So there is infused coal right there. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that guy. And we're going to do this. And what this is Z minus 4. So where does that come out? Where is minus 4? Z minus 4 is right here. So this is where that all comes out. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, so what I can do now is I just go over yonder. And I think we're at the right level. Perfect. And then what I'll do is, ooh, I'll probably want to elevate this, honestly. So let me throw down some good old-fashioned trusses. Right? Make this look like a legit little establishment here. I'll bring this over. Because we will need... if I can do that. We will need to run our stuff under this little bridge that I've made. We'll need to run all this stuff that way. So we'll do this. We'll do this. And we should connect it. And then that should be enough, I hope. I didn't put the motors in there. Let me do that because I want this outputting fast. This is a purpose-built energy system. And that should be more than enough. It should be getting more than enough power, right? Yeah, 128 power per second. That's so much power for this. Okay, so that's at least doing its thing for now. I should probably honestly build another, like a Mark II battery. Because this is getting, I mean, you know, it just goes away immediately. And this starts, I think, taking more power the deeper it goes, too. So that's definitely something we need to do. All right, so I need to run back to the CPH one more time because there is an element of this that we still need to come up with. I'm macerating this TNT, by the way, because I'm curious as to what comes out of it, if anything. Because I think there's going to be a lot of it. And I wonder how the game classifies this. If any of you guys know what the TNT is, let me know down in the comments, because I have never run into this. I mean, maybe I have. I just haven't realized it, but I mean, it doesn't seem to be macerating into anything. But anyway, so what we need, in addition to all of these macerators, right, which is, I mean, we can make a ton of them, so that's not a huge issue. But we will need a way to filter out what we do and do not need, right? So it's easy to kind of macerate everything, right? But there's a couple specific things that we're going to want to kind of, you know, like actually filter out the item itself, right? So I'm going to make, oh God, I need some copper wire. Luckily, I've used so much copper wire this episode. I've cut out most of the using of it, right, except for this right here. But luckily, we did this in the last episode, so it's trivial to just run over there and grab copper wire. If anything, I'm considering getting a bigger hopper for that, so I can get it in a larger quantity, right? But the difference between these two conveyor filters, right? Regular and advanced conveyor filters, right? The regular one kind of gives you, I guess, categories that it'll filter by. And let me show you kind of what I mean by that. And we'll need, I'm doing some calculations in my head right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, let me do a little bit more of these, maybe 15. And we'll make like 7 of those. Right? So let me throw those on a hotbar and kind of show you what I mean. This will do, I think. Regular, advanced. Okay. So if I throw a regular conveyor filter down, right? It kind of, if you look at the bottom left there, you see transporting nothing, set filter to gems or biomass or organic items, smeltable, researchable, combustible, all that kind of stuff, right? This is a great first filter for all of the stuff that we're going to have over there, right? Because that means we can, you know, we could do something like, give me all of the smeltable items with one filter. And that'll give us all of the ores in one go, right? So that's a great way to just, let's cut the ores out of the equation. So we only send ores to the macerators, right? And so I'm going to give you kind of a little demonstration here. We're going to try to figure out how to do this. I don't know if I want to do this many belts. I think that's just kind of a lot, right? So let me see here. We'll need to dig this out a little bit to give us some space. All right, so I think the best way these work or I think they have to work off hoppers, right? So if I go, let's say here, one thing I want to do is I want each direction that I'm going to output to kind of be something specific, right? So the first thing I want to check for is I want to make sure that there are anything smeltable gets out, because I don't want anything smeltable going to the macerators, which will be in some other direction. They might even be over there. I don't know. This is kind of just a temporary setup to specifically demonstrate how this is all going to work, right? So we'll do something like that, right? And I think if I copy that directly, it'll, okay, I guess not. Smeltable, right? So this should take care of the ores. But, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. I'm having like a In fact, I'm not... I'm going to do this in the most inefficient way possible, actually. I'm going to just have these all coalesce onto one, right? So you're going to do that. You're going to come in that way. And there will be yet another one in that way. Is this great? Oh, actually, I don't think that'll work either. Well, you just do that. Okay. So now everything smeltable will come out that way. But what you can also do is out this way, you can do, okay, so I want, let me see here, smeltable. And if I press T, it'll do everything except smeltable items. So you can already see, right? That's not smeltable. There's nothing here. That means this has no ore in it. It hasn't found any ore, which if I look in the boxes, that holds true, right? Okay, so we've essentially eliminated one facet of this, right? But now what I want to do, now I want to make sure that anything combustible also comes out. And so this should be, you know, coal. And eventually it'll get like biomass too, I think, if I really kind of go through it all. Biomass, right? But for now, smeltable should be fine. If I kill biomass, it's not the end of the world for me. Because I can make... Oh, actually, I might need them for pellets. Or I might be able to do that with liquid resin. I don't know. We'll kind of figure that out, right? So now, I'll put another one of these down. And that's everything except smeltable, right? So then this is where... Did I make those... I don't think I made the macerators. All right, I did. So this is where everything would now come out and go to a macerator array, right? Everything on this line, because everything on this line will have proven to be not ore or not smeltable, and then not... Oh wait, this is smeltable. Wait, smeltable? This should be... No, this should be combustible. Right, and that's everything except... Why is it doing that? Did I mess that up the first time? Everything except combustible. Okay. What is in here? Blah, blah. Organic. Okay. Yeah, stuff that doesn't matter. Here, let me... I don't know if what that TNT block is actually... set it to... combustible. Here, let me do this so that it... Wait. Transporting combustible types. Oh, you know what? I think some of this biomass and these... I think the biomass and all this stuff is combustible. Now that I think about it. Okay. So, I'm glad we did this because now it demonstrates something where we need the advanced conveyor filters, right? So, what I want to do is I'm going to... Coal. And I want only coal to come out here. So choose item, right? So only coal will come out here. But now I also want this to be coal, invert coal. So now this is everything except coal. So you can see something come out, right? So this is specifically coal will go through here. This makes sense because there's multiple smeltable items, right? All the different ore types. What I'm going to have to do for this later, though, is, you know, down the road... have this come into a series of hoppers and have it be like, okay, so you're going to be copper, right? And you're actually going to be copper ore, right? So now copper ore comes out. And then the next one's going to be tin ore, right? So now everything, all the tin ore comes out, and iron ore and lithium ore. And then I'm going to have to, I mean, they'll probably be facing this way, but... And then I'm going to have to set all of that stuff to go to their respective smeltable lines, right? But then also, after the macerators are done with what they're doing, and they send out ore, I'm going to have to send them through maybe even the same set of filters so that they do, you know, they go to wherever they need to go, right? So that is kind of the plan for how this is going to work. I'm glad we got this at least set up and powered. It's stopped now because it has no place to output, right? And that's just kind of the burden of what it's going to end up being, right? But I think this is a great spot to unfortunately end the episode. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm glad we finally have a quarry going. You know, it's obviously not hooked up yet. I'm going to need to kind of do a little bit of behind the scenes work to kind of build up material so that we can actually get this all hooked up and I can do a whole, you know, filter setup and a whole logistics setup and all of that, right? Another option is that I send this, I just output this onto a belt and I build a whole filter setup somewhere else. You know, I don't want this to be the only smelter or the only quarry, excuse me. So, you know, I want one maybe right here, and I want one right here, and I want one right here, and I want one over there and over there. So it might make sense to just have all of these output onto a belt that just goes off in that direction, and then somewhere over here, you know, however far away that needs to be, and kind of with keeping the, you know, because if you see, so somewhere out in line with all this stuff, maybe that's where we do all of the filtering and the sorting, because it'll give us a little bit more space to just consider all the logistics, right? So maybe that's something I'll have to think about, and I might end up doing. But this was a good example, just for, you know, illustrative purposes on what the plan is for this whole system. So I'm rambling at the end here. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. We're finally getting into the meat of what I want to do in this playthrough, and that's pretty exciting for me. So with that, guys, we'll see you in the next one.